Finally means coming to an end.
Vocabulary refers to knowing the meaning of words and is critical to successful reading comprehension. Building vocabulary involves teaching your learner how to figure out the meaning of words while reading. It also requires selecting and studying the meanings of individual words and parts of words. It's important to relate these vocabulary words to learners' current and prior experiences to help cement them in their word bank. Signal words are words that give a reader clues about what is important in a story. They tell us how to read a text effectively and understand how ideas are organized. They help us understand the structure of a story, what we might expect, and what to look for.
We're going to go ahead and start today on a vocabulary strategy.
Okay.
And when I say strategy, what does that mean to you?
Strategy to means to learn. We're gonna learn vocabulary words.
Mm-hmm. And the strategy part is like a technique, like a trick or a tip that we use to help make the learning easier.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So a tool that you can use. If I teach you a strategy, then you can use that in different ways in different times when you're reading.
Okay.
So this particular strategy is to help you grow your vocabulary and to learn how to use that to increase your comprehension when you're reading something. Okay, so that's the strategy. And this particular one is called using signal words.
Okay.
Okay, so what is a signal when you think of that word?
A word that stands out for me. That's what a signal word is. Something that stands out.
Okay, so when I think about a traffic signal, like what do you do when you see the light change?
It's going to know what color it is.
You pay attention,
yes,
yeah, and then you have to think about what I'm going to do when that light changes.
Yes.
Right, so this is kind of like a traffic light. It's going to say, hey, pay attention, okay? And then you have to pay attention to what's written after that signal word because it's the author's way of telling you that something important is coming.
Oh, okay.
Okay, like the light's way of telling you that the intersection's coming.
Okay.
So there's a whole bunch of different kinds of signal words. There's different categories. There's 12 different kinds. Some, like this one, is time signals.
Okay.
And it can clue you like if it's something that happened before or after or right now.
Oh.
And there's lots, as you can see, that are commonly used in writing to be transitions or to help place you in the story so you have better comprehension. And today we're just going to focus on conclusion signal words.
Conclusion signal words, okay.
So when we talk about a conclusion, what does that signal for you?
The end.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. So it gives us clues to what's going to happen next in the story or at the end of the story. Sometimes that can be like a summary of what's important.
Okay.
Or like the final punchline, you know,
Okay.
something you're supposed to remember,
All right.
right? Okay, so the reading signal word pops up and it lets us know where the story's heading and it tells us to pay attention.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
We're going to just start with this small category called conclusion signals.
Okay.
And there's 12 of them. And today we'll just do 3.
Okay.
We'll just work on 3. Then next week we'll read something else and we'll add 3 more. Or whenever you've got the hang of the first 3, we'll move on and we'll do them all until you have all of the conclusion ones.
Okay.
Then we can work on a different category. Okay? I'm going to write down these 3 first ones that we're going to work on. And I want you to tell me what you think this one is. In conclusion. So what is conclusion? What if I shorten it and say conclude?
It means the end. Means
Sort
the
of
end.
like I'm going to wrap it all up.
Yeah.
Like in conclusion, and that tells me this is the end, and I'm going to wrap it all up and kind of restate what I said before.
Okay.
And then the next one is finally. What does that mean?
Finally means coming to an end.
It means we're done. This is the end.
Yeah, coming to an
And
end.
the next one is as a result. This one's a little different.
Yep.
Yeah, as a result.
Kind of going back to the conclusion, would it be?
Kind
As
of.
a result.
Usually this would be like they've told you about something, and then as a result, something else happens.
Okay.
And so it's tying them together and leaving you with this end thought that's the most important thing. Okay?
Okay.
all of these are kind of telling us that the author wants us to pay attention, and that if we take away anything from the thing we've read, the story, probably that's the most important part that they want us to remember. Okay? And what we're going to do now is just, we'll read a couple little articles and have you highlight when you recognize those signal words in there, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so this story is called My Mother's Story. And when we've read things before, like, you know, the book of the daily things that we read, sometimes when it's hard material, we can read those together to allow you to just listen to me and hear the words and think about what they mean, instead of you having to figure out how to sound out each word. Okay, so we can do that on this one and this one, because what I want you to focus on is looking for those signal words. Okay, and hearing what the story is about and why did the author use a signal word. Okay, so My Mother's Story. In 1962, my mother moved to Wyoming from Massachusetts. First, she lived with a widow and her daughter. Then she started teaching at the junior high, where she met my father. Finally, they got married in August 1963. So that, oh, look at you. There you go. Well, that's a signal word. So what does that add to the story by using that signal word? What does it tell us to pay attention to?
At the end of her being or life, or she got married, and it said finally they got married. So after, in my mind, reading that story, I kind of went away, and it was like after she lived with the widow, after she was with the widow and the daughter, she met a young man, and finally they got married. You know, so they might have dated, they might have whatever in before that, but finally they got married.
So it was a big event in her life, and it's telling you that was kind of the conclusion to her journey through that year when she made that move. Yeah, okay, that's good. Okay, so let's see if we can find one in the next story, and you can read with me if you want. So play technique helps us study children's personalities. Children often cannot say how they are feeling. However, they may show their feelings when they play. The child who will not talk about his or her own fears and conflicts may project these feelings into dolls. Feelings of all sorts may be revealed in play. As a result, play technique, when done well, gives adults a chance to understand a child better. So these were our signal words that we were looking for. And you were highlighting as we were going along. So you got the signal word that we were looking for as a result. And you were also looking at these like signal words. So feelings. Interesting.
Feelings, it just kind of jumps out at you, feelings, because you're talking about a situation. And if you didn't use that as a signal word, I don't know quite what other way you could use that, but I would really focus on the word feelings.
Well, the whole point of the story is about feelings, which is great, because you completely got that. It's about feelings and how kids can't often express their feelings, and so they do it in a different way. So this is a very interesting signal word here, as a result. So what they're talking about is the feelings, and then that kids can kind of have to express their feelings through play. And as a result, play technique gives adults a chance to understand a child better. So this is kind of the bridge, because you got the meaning, and then here they're telling you the most important part is to look for the feelings in the way children play. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So these three we'll have to work on in different ways. Maybe you could try and write a sentence with one of them.
Oh, that would be good.
Okay. You want to try? Okay.
Signal words and phrases mark relationships between ideas and information. Being able to identify and use signal words is a powerful strategy for learners. Learning them not only increases a learner's vocabulary, it also boosts a person's reading comprehension. Developing background knowledge and a strong vocabulary is key to reading well. For this reason, it's important to explicitly and regularly focus on vocabulary development with your learner. You've seen a tutor do quite a bit of talking when explaining a new strategy. During most lessons, you and your learner would be equally talkative.